The story begins in a beautiful virtual world. Peng Zhu walks around with a girl named Baba. In front of him are two brats, making the river dark and dirty. Baba comments why anyone would wash charcoal in the river and can it even be washed cleaned. This time, the brat asks how would they know if they don't try. Peng Zhu answers he has never seen anyone manage to wash the black off the charcoal despite living for years, and the brat's imaginations are really wild. The brat arrogantly says Peng Zhu is an old man who escaped the natural laws of life and death, and that is more bizarre than washing charcoal. The other brat then asks Peng Zhu to come with them after admitting how long he has lived. Shocked, Peng Zhu asks where to. The brats shed off their disguise and reveal their evil nature. After the eruption of their powers, they tell Peng Zhu they will bring him to hell. Peng Zhu realizes his carelessness and prepares for battle. He asks the brats if they can kick him out and shows his powers, overwhelming his enemies. The brats can't withstand the impact of Peng Zhu's might, the powers of the divine beasts. The brats are pushed away as they receive the sudden burst of power. They can't believe how skilled Peng Zhu is and asks for help. Peng Zhu hears them and realizes they are asking for his wife's help. Suddenly, his wife betrays and blackmails him into destroying his real body. Peng Zhu realizes his wife is an enforcer and was in disbelief. The brats get their chance and strike Peng Zhu, who was frozen in place. They showed their full might, knocking Peng Zhu away. This time, Peng Zhu is thoroughly defeated. In the real world, Sunran wakes up. Here, he is an underclass who only has faster reaction speed and exceptional looks. He has congenital heart disease and might die at any moment. He believes no one would know he is a big shot in the virtual world and that he is only a tragedy. There are more than billion humans living in the entire solar system Federation. To avoid unrest, the Federation developed virtual worlds to allow mankind to experience new lives and reduce dissatisfaction if the real world. Thus, 10 years ago, the first virtual world, Earth OL, was born. Sunran entered the world at the first chance. With his superior game experience, he found the extremely rare divine artifact, the Jade Butterfly of Creation. He successfully reverse-engineered the raw data of the divine artifact and obtained highest level of administrative rights in Earth OL. The authority allowed Sunran to remove all restrictions on Earth OL, and he became the Great Creator, a being who is above all rules of the game, also known as the strongest cheat user. Sunran experienced a life that has spanned tens of thousands of years in the past. Time flows at a different rate in the virtual world, and he has never been discovered by anyone. However, he never thought his identity as a hacker would be exposed today. Sunran started to think and his mind went to the past. He remembers his wedding night when he suffered a heart attack in reality and got disconnected, unable to wipe the traces of his connection information. Sunran then receives an email from the virtual world's administrative HQ. After opening the email, he saw the lists of crimes he committed and the corresponding punishments. For the first crime of destroying the balance of the game by living more than years, Sunran is required to pay more than 900 million credit points. For the second crime against the opposite gender, having 49 wives illegally, Sunran is sued by only of them and he is required to pay more than million credits. The central AI determines he is incapable to pay and will be monitored all the time. Realizing there were wives who did not sue him, Sunran asks for their names. However, due to the confidentiality agreement, their identities cannot be revealed. Sunran puts down his virtual equipment. He sits in his chair and pondered how grave his situation is, discovering the risk of pulling stunts in the virtual world has increased several times. The central AI is the core of all artificial intelligence systems on the planet, and its controls are extremely powerful. Sunran is having a mental breakdown, for the AI is forcing him to his death. In the past, Sunran could not even get the most ordinary jobs. He cannot take on the work because of his physical condition. In the end, he can only be a male escort. However, Sunran would rather die than do that kind of work. Right, he'll just end it all. Sunran arrives on top of a building with his face in despair. He's got no money to cure his disease and might die the very next second. Sunran would rather follow his heart and jump than live a life worse than death. Suddenly, a woman arrives and asks Sunran if he would jump. He was stunned after seeing someone asking him such a question. The woman berates him for being heartless and asks him why he would commit suicide despite promising her to grow old together. Sunran asks the woman who she is and if she had mistaken him for someone else. He could not believe such a beautiful girl would talk to me in the real world. Seeing the beauty, Sunran is reminded of someone. He asks the girl if she is his first wife in Earth OL. Sunran could not believe what is happening, since players would seal off their existing memories and experience a new life. He believes that the woman is troublesome and must have taken the game seriously. The woman asks Sunran to go with him in the car. However, he continued to question her about where would they go. He knows that life in game is all in the past. The woman answers him that only fools would take it seriously, and she was inviting him to the hospital. Sunran asks the woman why, and she answers, for a heart transplant. He was speechless and blankly stared at the woman's beautiful face. Inside the car, Sunran asks why the woman is doing this, and she answers it's a waste for a talent like him to go to waste. The woman explains that the credit points paid for the operation are just a loan and Sunran has to pay her back in the future. The woman continued to ask how much debt he owed and if it's really so bad that he would commit suicide, to which Sunran answered it isn't much, only a little over 900 million. The car jolted after the woman suddenly presses the brake in shock. The woman comments that Sunran is really something and he'll be stuck with her for the time being. She then showed him a perfect job to earn money to pay off his debts. The woman introduced herself as Lan Xin, a member of the Enforcer Alliance, and a Dark Steel level Enforcer. Sunran is surprised for knowing her identity. With the birth of virtual worlds, many organizations developing cheats have emerged. Meanwhile, those who use the cheats to destroy the game balance are the destroyers. To combat them, the enforcers were born. They were hired to use cheats and deal with the destroyers. Sunran asks Lan Xin if she wants him to be an enforcer and warns her that he is a monitored individual by the central AI. Lan Xin explains that enforcers are on the side of the law, and the central AI won't interfere with his lawful actions. After hearing that she needs an assistant, Sunran smiles, knowing he would get a healthy heart and enjoy a new life again. Sunran declares he is the right guy and he'll be definitely worth it. There are 3 residential levels in the Earth Alliance. At the top is the Zenith, where nature flourishes and only 10 million people can live. The second level is the Garden, which contains a simulated, artificial landscape and is favored by the middle class. The lowest level is the Common Ground, which only has turbid air, dull steel, and narrow streets. Located in Common Ground District lay Lan Xin's lodgings. Inside, Sunran is looking at Lan Xin's photo. He realized her photo is pasted on the picture of the Zenith, and it must be her dream to reach there like everyone else. Sunran turns his head when he heard a sudden movement. On the side, Lan Xin arrives and brings with her a regular sensorial chair. As she goes inside the room, she asks Sunran how is his heart. Sunran checks his chest and answers it feels fine due to how advanced technology is. Hearing he is alright, Lan Xin tells him that they will connect to headquarters. She explains he will be staying in the living room while Lan Xin stays in her room, and she forbids him to come to her. After Lan Xin is gone, Sunran comments that they have already lived together for many years and there's no need to be shy. Thereafter, Sunran comfortably sits on his chair and picks up his virtual equipment. He initiated connection, completing the analysis and acquiring the permission. After completely logging in, Sunran is teleported in a wide grassy field. He is memorized to see the otherworldly structure in front of him. Lan Xin explains it is the Enforcer Alliance's headquarters, the Rubik's Cube of Order. She further says that there are more than 5 million permanent enforcers in the Alliance and that maintains the balance of each virtual world. Sunran thought the majority of the enforcers are doing their job for a bite eat and those at the top are not really skilled. Lan Xin introduces her team as Rose of Thorns with 3 members and Sunran will be the 4th. While they walk, Sunran asks why does Lan Xin still need him. Lan Xin says she needs someone really good and she welcome an experienced and skilled player like Sunran. Sunran smiles and proclaims she has recruited the right guy. Unfortunately, Lan Xin doesn't like being called intimately and berated Sunran for his shamelessness. As they arrived, Lan Xin warns Sunran not to hit on her besties and she would not allow him laying his hands on them. Sunran opens the door and takes a peek. He was surprised when he discovers he knows the people inside the room. The girls warmly greet him and they're happy that he finally arrived. Lan Xin calmly introduced them to Sunran. One of them is Care, codename Purple Rose. She is Sunran's wife in Earth OL. The other one is Bai Tingshuan, codename White Rose. She is Sunran's wife in Earth OL. Subsequently, Lan Xin introduces herself as Red Rose. She is Sunran's first wife in Earth OL. They are Iron level enforcers. This time, Sunran finally realizes they are the 3 wives who didn't press charges against him. Sunran politely greeted his teammates. He begins to joke with them and reminisce about what happened in the bedroom. The girls became shy, so Lan Xin orders everyone to get down to business. She explains that Sunran is now a trainee enforcer and must accumulate qualifications, so he can join everyone on missions after he is promoted to Iron level. Lan Xin tells him to proceed to small, freshly created virtual worlds and complete commissions. She gave Sunran a prepared commission from Sure Virtual Company, and their virtual world is called Dragon Age. Lan Xin reveals that the game is plagued with minor troubles where vampires, werewolves, and evil spirits are popping up everywhere. She says a destroyer has gained control of the world's strongest creature, the giant divine dragon, and the company suspects it is a work of a rival company. Sunran comments he is interested and asks if Lan Xin wants him to be a dragon slayer. However, Lan Xin denied it and says someone is already hired to kill it and Sunran is only there to assist and obtain the qualification of an enforcer. Sunran questions how long will it take and Lan Xin answers that as long as the dragon is slain. He is also rewarded credit points, which is considered cheap but acceptable for Iron level teams such as Rose of Thorns. Even though Sunran can't use cheats like before, something as simple as protecting someone is no challenge at all. After reading the contract, Sunran intimately asks Lan Xin to send the papers. While she pouts in dissatisfaction, Lan Xin is shocked after reading the display. Percent of the commission will be credited to Rose of Thorns while remaining percent will be used to compensate Earthoel's service provider. Sun Ran is surprised upon seeing Lan Xin's face. However, he could only let Lan Xin take all the earning and he will rely on her for support. Lan Xin is speechless after hearing Sun Ran's shamelessness. She accepted his proposal and hold on to the earnings. Seeing her sign the contract, Sun Ran says she can do whatever she wish and as her husband, he will take care of her from now on. Lan Xin is stunned, seeing his smug face. Seeing her spacing off, Care questions why and states they are still discussing the commission. Lan Xin immediately asks forgiveness and reasons she was just thinking about something. Seeing it settled, Sun Ran stands up and declares he will be a bodyguard and dragon age. Lan Xin bids farewell and tells him to be careful. In the room, only the three wives remain. Care says Sun Ran is an unfathomable man and it is too risky to work with him. Lan Xin turns to Bai Tingxuan, knowing she's best at reading people. Bai Tingxuan says it will be fine and proclaims Sun Ran as someone worthy of trust. Lan Xin then checks Peng Zhu records and reveals that he had a pretty high status, would always marry his partners and treat them wholeheartedly.
That's it for today. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.